Hello and welcome to Back to Basics with Sandra and Lyndall. We are back with Grace for part 2 of our podcast in relation to her journey for fertility and IVF.
Hi guys.
And yeah, you go. We're just like wanting to get so much out of this. We're just so enthralled by your story. I wanted to ask, is that how you started your business, or where did that come about? Did that come about after pre-hysterectomy?
Pre-hysterectomy, pre.
Yeah.
So I think it was GD events sort of started at my darkest moment.
Okay.
It was really like one of the times where I was helpless and just had no idea what to do. And I was working for a huge corporate company who was this was my dream job. This is what I'd been working towards for such a long time. And I just had a miscarriage, and I wasn't dealing very well with it emotionally, physically, mentally. But I'd go to work and the expectations were still the same as everybody else. No one really cared about me.
They don't.
No one cared that, I was just a number
Yep.
on their books. I was just there to make sales or to do whatever it was that
Keep the wheels turning.
Keep the wheels turning. Whether you go, you come, I don't really care. Just do the job. And that's fair enough, because they're a company, they're a multicultural, multinational corporation. So, I'm there to do a job, and I was doing my job. I wasn't letting go of my job at any time whatsoever. But it's like that personal interaction to just when someone can come and say, hey, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking a bit off today. Do you want to just take a moment and go out and have a breather and come back? No one gave a crap about whether I looked like I was okay, whether I looked like I was alive. Just do the job. That's it. And I realized that there has to be more to life, because then I'd go to work and I'd have to come home and work for work.
Yeah.
Because it was like a never-ending cycle. And I wasn't feeling well. And I think it was just this moment of frustration where I came home one day and I said to my husband, I'm going to quit. And he's like, yeah, okay. What are we going to do now? I'm going to quit and I want to start my own business. And he looked at me like, is this
just put more on your plate, Grace?
No, is this another one of your moments where you're just like, he wasn't really, I looked at him and he didn't really seem very sure about what I was talking about, why I was saying this. And I said to him, and he said, okay, so what would you like to do? And I said, I want to be a wedding planner. And he's like, what the? And I said, yeah, I want to quit my job and I want to start my own business and I want to be a wedding planner. Where the hell did this come from?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. So being, the older, more responsible, more, let's not say intelligent, but, the wiser person, he said to me, okay, so I think that if you would like to start your own business in event planning, even though you have business qualifications, I think you should go and study event planning to see if you actually like it. And then you have the qualification to be able to sell the service to people. And I said, okay. And he's thinking, she's not going to do this. She's not going to go back to study. And so that day I think I was working from home and I spent most of the day researching private colleges that taught event planning where I could get credits from my degree. And he came home from work and I had this whole pile of printed documents with all these courses. And I said, and I laid them all down in front of him and I said, I think I want to do this course. And he's like, she's serious about this. And I said, and he's like, okay, so do you want to enroll? Thinking she's not even going to enroll. And I said, yeah, I think I'm going to enroll into this, but I just wanted to show you because we have to pay money for this. So I just wanted to show you before I commit to it, to make sure that, you're okay, we're okay.
Everything,
yeah. We've got this open line of communication. And he's like, yeah, if you think that this is what you want to do, go ahead. She's not going to do this. I enrolled. It took me a little while to complete it. I think I actually finished my course, my diploma while I was recovering from my hysterectomy.
Wow.
So I was on the couch and I wasn't allowed to do anything because I was all stitched up. And so my hysterectomy is a little bit different to other women. I had a C-section cut, so I was cut all the way. Most women just get keyhole surgery done. So that's why my recovery took a little bit longer because I had more wounds to heal. And I finished my diploma while I was on the couch recovering.
Wow.
And during that time, GD events started in a different name.
Can't be as bad as baby doll creation.
No. I love that.
So good.
I love it. Chantel's a very dear friend of mine. Hi, Shani.
I love you, girl.
So what was your vision for your business when you started?
I don't know. I think I just wanted to do something that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do the miscarriages really took a toll out of me.
Yeah.
And the thought of having a child that was growing inside of me and that child passing away and dying made me feel like I was still a mother but not on this earth.
Wow.
And my children are in heaven. But I felt like I wanted to do something to show my children that I was stronger than the fight that I was fighting, and that I was fighting for them. So I always envisaged that if I had a daughter, her name was going to be Maria. So I wanted to name the business after Maria originally, and then I changed it, and we decided to call it GD Events because I am GD.
Yeah.
And this is all about me on a platform. And the identity of GD and building the brand of GD is building my identity at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's flourishing and growing into the form of me. So it always has to represent what I stand for, what I am, my style, my ethics, my morals, my everything about me.
You.
It has
It's
it is me on a platform, right? And even my creativity, it's something that's original to me. I don't like to copy what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
If you tell me to make the wall green, I'll make it green with splashes of yellow on it just to make it different. So the reason why I wanted to start the business was because I felt like I needed to do something to prove to myself that I was able to overcome these challenges and do something that meant something in my life and meant something to the other people. Because when I lost my identity of becoming a mother, and I lost my purpose of in my mind I thought I was supposed to do, I had to find something that I was good at and something that I was passionate about and something that I put my heart and soul into it, just like you do to your child.
Yeah.
So in some ways, GD events and the brands that come with GD are like my children. And I love them and care for them as I would my children. And again, this is not about a sob story. This is not about, I feel sorry for her. This is about a challenge that I've given myself. And it's my responsibility to make it turn into something.
Yeah.
And the outcome will help me grow, and it will help me heal, and it will help me to find the true grace.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. And do you because you're celebrating other people, do you ever feel like sad or anything when you're celebrating other people's events? Could be christenings, kids' birthdays and things. How do you deal with that? Like, how do you cope with celebrating?
I used to have to take a moment to compose myself. But then the whole point of this as well was not just to find me and to be a better version of me, but I was sick of the negativity. I was sick of always being sad. I was sick of like going to work and everyone's depressed and everyone's sad and everyone's got an issue. And I know that's like part of normal life, but I wanted to do something where I see people happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something where I'm part of a celebration. I'm part of like a memory that you're making with your family and your loved ones. And somewhere down the track, I've made that memory come to life. Like that's, for me, that's a huge thing. It's not just about, and I said this the other day, it's not just about the beauty of, you know, flowers and balloons and cakes and whatever. That's the output of the creation. But it's the journey of leading up to that event. Yeah. And the stories that we share with each other and, you know, the connection that I have with all my clients. And I feel like I'm part of that celebration from the get-go. And like with all my heart, I'm celebrating with you.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of sad moments.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of sad moments. But I need the happiness to make me realize that there's more to life than just sad.
Yeah.
And everyone has sad. And everyone has dark moments and moments where they cry, but when I'm a true believer that when you're surrounded in the environment that you want to be in, then that's how you live your life.
Yeah.
I'm not always happy, and this isn't a band-aid.
Yeah.
But it's the process of trying to make myself happier by sharing your happiness.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So
And sharing your happiness with something that I can't physically do myself.
Yeah.
It used to like play second thoughts in my mind, but now I'm actually I'm confident enough to say, yeah, let's do this. And I'm happy for you because you're having a child's birthday, you're having a gender reveal, you're having a christening, and there's always going to be a part in my heart that's going to go, I wish that was me, but it's not.
Yeah.
And that's reality. And I've got to face reality.
Yeah. So take us back to the partnership that you have with the hospital, because that obviously has played a really important part in your life. And obviously all of the funds raised at the soiree went to the charity, which I thought was so incredible. So talk us through that partnership.
So the Royal Hospital for Women, as you can tell, have been a huge support in my journey. The nurses, and we were really blessed to have some of the nurses that were there, and Prof. Ledger's wife was there. Shout out to Teresa. So it was really, really special to have them there on that night. Yes, they were the beneficiaries, but just to have their presence there, especially when I made the decision to talk about my journey, just made it feel even more.
You can see them all like getting really emotional.
Yeah, and some of these women were actually my nurses. So some of these women have seen me at my worst. Some of these women have had to take me to the bathroom when I couldn't go to the bathroom myself. Like they've seen me raw and at like, you know, where there is nothing else that I can hide from anyone in the world.
Yeah.
You've seen it all. And for them to be there on the night and to support was amazing. But for them to be there by my side during this whole time, and we don't give enough credit to nurses.
Yeah.
And we don't give enough credit to the to the people who work in hospitals and medical clinics and the people who have to deal with people like me who are struggling, and they still have to put on a brave face and say it's okay. Sometimes at the end of the day, you're just another person. But then they're human as well. So if your story is heartbreaking, or if your story is, you know, you create that emotional connection with that person, they're taking that home to their family. They're going to think about it for a while. You're making an impact on their lives. I think it's a really big deal when you have to see someone who physically can't get up to walk to the bathroom, and you're there to be that person that helps them. Like that's huge.
Like your guardian angels. They're like your angels.
Yeah. And so that's part of the reason why I said to the girls I'd like to choose this charity, because they do a lot of amazing work, and there's a lot of people who don't really know about what they do. And I know a lot of people think that they're just a maternity ward or maternity clinic where women just go and have babies. But I've never even been to the maternity ward. I've never stood foot in the maternity ward at the hospital. I've been everywhere else except there. And they do such amazing work for women everywhere. all ages.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's really sad that people just think that they're just there to deliver babies, but there's so much more, and there's so many more people in that building that do so much good for women in particular, because it's a women's hospital. But that's not to say that there's so many amazing people in hospitals and in the medical world that are there to help people that don't get that pat on the back. No one really says thank you to them. You know, you go to the hospital, you go in and have surgery or a procedure or whatever it is that you're there for, and you're really feeling shit at the time. And the last thing you want to do is like give the nurse a pat on the back, because you don't even know if you can pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Like you'll even say thank you, but
what does that mean?
What does that mean? So I wanted to do something to say thank you. Thank you for being there.
Yeah.
Thank you from my heart and from my mum, because she spent some time there with her cancer treatment. But from my heart, thank you for being my guardian angels. Thank you for being there to support me when I was at my worst. Family is sort of, most cases your family is like obliged to be there.
Yeah.
There's a mutual obligation that you know that they're going to be there, and that doesn't always happen, but it sort of goes, you know, unsaid that there's someone going to be there to support you, but these people don't really have to. And yeah, they get paid for it, but they don't really get paid a lot of money to sit there.
But it takes something else to be there.
It takes a special
really
person.
Be there for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you have any information you wanted to share?
Yes, I did.
About?
Sorry, I just want to read something out on behalf of the hospital.
Yeah.
So the Royal Hospital for Women is the only dedicated specialised women's health in New South Wales. The Royal provides life-changing care across fertility and genetics, newborn intensive care, breast care, gynaecological, maternity, obstetric medicine, maternal fetal medicine, menopause, adolescents, gynaecology, perinatal health, and acute care. The objective of the Royal Hospital for Women Foundation is to provide funding to deliver improved health outcomes through specialised equipment, innovative research programs and services. So I don't know if we can share later on, but the website for the Royal Hospital for Women. And yes, so I'm now working alongside with them to try to talk more about women's health issues and in line with my story, and to be that voice for women everywhere who don't have a voice. When I went through the darkness of my journey, I felt it was really hard to talk to somebody who actually understood what I was going through, even family, even my mum. Because my mum never went through what I went through. My husband's journey was different to my journey. I needed someone who actually got what it felt like to inject yourself every day, what it felt like to wake up in the middle of the night and be in tears. I needed somebody who physically felt what I was feeling, but I couldn't find anyone. And I think that's the reason why I decided to become a voice, to say, I've been there. I've walked down that road. I've been that person who's been this bad. And again, everyone's journey is going to be different. But if you can see the strength and if I can help you in some way to be a stronger and better person, I guess, and to find the person who's going to fight within you, then I'm here to do that. Because when I needed someone to be there, I didn't find that particular person, but I had that support system. I had that support system within my own network, within my family, within my friends, within, you know, my community of the people who knew my struggles and were there to stand by me. But not everyone does have that.
Yeah, because it's such a taboo subject. I know that, like, in my friendship circle even, like, I've got 2 children now, blessed with 2 children, and I'm 38 this year.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Happy birthday.
But it's, if you struggle to fall pregnant, like, you need to keep that under wraps. Like, you cannot let people know.
No
and
one's
my
allowed
mum
to know.
was very like, because people talk. And so you have to make it out like,
what are people going to say?
Yeah, what are they going to think? There's something wrong with you. So, you know, I'll never forget, like, I had a miscarriage, my first pregnancy, and we had a wedding to go to. It's so bizarre. This is all like full circle, but woke up that morning, was bleeding, as you said. It's like you're hemorrhaging, like it's massive amounts of blood. Go to the doctor. They gave me a pamphlet.
Yeah, like this is going to make me feel better.
So I was crying, and the
I'll
triage,
show you what to do with this
and
pamphlet.
it's like, oh, it happens.
Yeah,
here's a pamphlet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. Yeah, because you're just a number at the end of the day. But this is what I'm saying. There's polar opposites. Like obviously your situation is extreme, but it just takes a bit of those interpersonal skills and that empathy. But I really felt like a number that morning, and we had a wedding to go to that day for one of my first cousins, and after that I was like, I'm not going. Like, this is my personal thing. Don't want to go. And Mum's like, we've RSVP'd, we have to go. And I was like, why the fuck do I have to go to this wedding? Anyway, so we went. I went and got my makeup done at Chantel, and I was sitting there getting dolled up and thinking, I am broken inside, and I have to put on this facade and go with the massive pad on, like to you know, like to this wedding.
I'm in pain. I'm not feeling
yeah,
very well.
you're not. I have to smile and blah blah blah, and it was like, it's crazy what women have to go through, and I think that people. This is why this podcast is really important, because I feel like you're like an everyday woman. We're at this age where if you're struggling, it's taboo, and there's something wrong with you, and we need to stop making women feel like there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
And
because there's nothing wrong with you.
There's nothing wrong
and
with you.
And this is what I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Because when I realized that nothing was working properly, I had to come to the conclusion within myself that I didn't do this to myself.
Yeah.
This is just the way that I was created.
Yeah.
And then I went through this cycle with my mum because she felt like she made me this way, and it was her fault because.
Isn't that crazy?
But you didn't decide for me to be born like this. I didn't decide that this was going to happen to me.
Yeah.
There is nothing that I can do to stop this process from happening.
Yeah.
There is nothing that I can do to change what's happening to me. So whether I have to either learn to accept it and keep going in my life, or what's going to happen.
Stop. And I guess, like, on the flip side, because Lyndall, you obviously aren't at that point yet, and I think from when I've known you, it was never really on the cards. Do you but we've spoken about it in a previous podcast that it may potentially be on the cards, like if it was to ever happen.
You know what? I've got a background in fitness and in hairdressing as well, and I think, you know, those two industries are just industries where your clients feel comfortable enough with you to share even the deepest, darkest secrets. So I feel like I've heard so many bad stories, so many horror stories, but I've also heard some really positive, amazing stories as well. So I almost feel a little bit conflicted, you know, like, but also, like, I don't have a partner. Yeah. You know, I'm not with somebody that, you know, wants to have a baby. I've never even dated somebody that's wanted to have a baby. All of my past partners haven't even wanted children. So look, if it happens for me, I'll be stoked. But if it doesn't, I will just get like 5 dogs. Yeah. But, you know, hearing stories like this is just so powerful, I think, for women. And I think there needs to be more of a voice, because I agree with you when you say that, you know, this subject is somewhat taboo and it shouldn't be. Like, it should be more spoken about, because people, you know, women should feel supported if they are going through this sort of thing. So I guess for anyone that is potentially going through something like what you went through, or going through, you know, troubles in terms of getting pregnant, like, what advice can you give to them?
The medical field is always going to suggest that you go and see a counsellor. They're always going to suggest that you see a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever it is. And for some people, that's great. That's someone that they can rely on, someone that they can talk to, someone that they can nut out, you know, their thoughts, someone who can actually help them to get better. I didn't go down that road. I refused it every single time. I only saw a counsellor when I had to sign on the dotted line to have the hysterectomy because I was underage and I didn't have cancer. So I needed to go and see someone to say that I was mentally stable to do it. Yeah. But I was very lucky because I had a family and a network of friends who were willing to listen to everything that I had to say, who were willing to deal with my crying and my craziness, because at that time I was like a hysterical hyena, just all the time.
That's me all the time.
I me so bad. And I laugh now, but it wasn't very funny at the time. Yeah. But I think for women who are going through this, I think if you have someone at home, whoever it is that you can rely on, they know the inside and out of you. They know what makes you click. They know they know how you think. They know what you like and what you don't like. They know what your hopes are. Start with them first.
Yeah.
If your mum's around, if your dad's around, or if you have a mother figure, someone who you can look up to for advice, she's a good person, or they're a good person to talk to.
Yeah.
They know the true you.
Yeah.
And then if that doesn't work and you need some extra help, then go and see someone who can really, like a professional who can really help you. I have a big thing about antidepressants, and I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this.
Go for it.
A lot of doctors are just gonna, and I all my respect to all doctors and everyone out there, but a lot of people will just say to you, "Here, take an antidepressant.
Yeah.
This will make you feel better." It's just a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's just a Band-Aid to hide from the real damage that's happening inside. I always said no to that.
Yeah.
Not because I felt like I was better than the drugs, but because I needed to heal myself internally without having a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I needed this wound to heal, or to start to heal, without being doped up the whole time.
Like,
and yes,
self-repair. Like you
self-repair.
Yeah.
And yes, I was on some pretty heavy painkillers, but I was on the painkillers because I physically needed them. I was in pain. So don't always use that as the first option.
Yeah.
Try to figure out why this is happening to you. That's hard.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a big believer that nothing ever happens as a coincidence. There's always a reason behind every single thing that happens to you. And you need to find the reason, the good and the bad. You need to find the reason within yourself, because maybe this is a journey to take you somewhere that you never thought you were going to go. I never thought I was going to do this.
Yeah.
I never thought I was going to stand in front of people and talk about periods and bleeding and my female organs. I never thought that was going to happen. It was the last thing that I wanted to talk about, but here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this isn't a coincidence. And if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that and like I said, I keep saying everyone's journey is different. Everyone's process is different. Everyone's calling is different. But try to figure out why this is happening to you, what you're supposed to learn from it, and try to look at it I know this sounds cliche. Try to look at it from a positive point of view.
What's this teaching me?
What's this teaching me? What am I supposed to
important.
get out of it?
Yeah.
Like if it's taking a little bit longer to fall pregnant, even through IVF or even through, just trying naturally, if it's taking a little bit longer, maybe my life's not ready yet to bring in a child. Like maybe not everything's set out like for this to happen right now.
Yeah.
And if it does happen right now, then maybe it's stopping me from doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not supposed to take that job. I've fallen pregnant. I'm supposed to do this instead. There's a reason why we get guided the way that we get guided. And then the other thing is, like, I'm a huge believer that even from adolescent age, our teenagers, we need to be having these conversations with our teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our cultures really, this is what you said, it's like a taboo topic that no one's allowed to talk about. We get so shy about taking our teenage girls to a doctor because they've got a problem with their period, but they've got a problem with their period just like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
but no one wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
But we've all got a problem in some way or form. Yes, they may not be as extreme as mine. They may be even more extreme as mine. But why can't we talk about it? Why can't we be educating our adolescent girls to say, you know what? Okay, if you get faced with this problem, whether it's a female health problem, whether it's a general health problem, whether it's a real life problem, these are the skills that you probably will need to be able to get through it. Because my challenge and my problem could have been anything. Didn't have to be this. But this was my problem. And I had to find the skills to get through it.
Yeah.
So whether it's girls or boys, we should be having open discussions about mental health and not just saying, go and see a counselor or go and take a pill or go and do this. Like, this is what let's try to build that that strength, that inner strength and that confidence within our kids to say, yes, you are capable of taking on what life throws at you.
And it's okay to go through what you're going through. Exactly. And I had this conversation, so funny, I had this conversation today or the other day with someone at work because we had period pain. And I said, how severe was our period pain at school? And they used to tell us to suck it up.
Yeah.
But they didn't actually understand, like, we were in a lot of pain and they'd be like, take Panadol.
Yeah.
Go have a rest, put the heat pack on.
Or even as a girl, like when you were forced to go swimming.
Or pay PE.
But like I'm struggling to stand up. I don't want. I can't even.
Why is it so hush hush? Anyway, but
why can't we talk about it?
We can't.
And I went to an
you're a
all
big
girls
baby
school.
if you do.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And it was even a taboo subject in an all girls school.
Even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why can't we have discussions with boys to tell them that this is what girls go through and this is normal. This is like normal life. This is how our bodies are made. We have to go through this. It's, you learn it they learn the basics at school.
We learn nothing at school.
You learn nothing at school.
We learn nothing. Honestly.
But that's why we need strong voices like yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
To talk about this more and be open and honest and happy to share your story so publicly and so raw and incredible. Like, I'm like, I don't usually not speak much during podcasts.
I know, this is good. You need to come
back. I normally don't stop speaking, but I am like floored, like just so incredible. Like your strength and your power is just, how positive you are is just so incredible. It's so grateful.
Thank you for having
to be here and share your story. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, I hope you loved this podcast today. I know I absolutely loved it as well. We're going to pop all of Grace's details for herself and her business below. We're also going to pop some more information down there for the Royal Hospital for Women as well. So if you want to reach out to them and get in contact with them, we'll pop the details below. But until next time, guys, see ya.